Welcome, everybody, to the Max Moving Training Podcast. And on today's episode, we have an amazing CEO out in Toronto, Canada, Colin Vandenwerf. He's the owner of Relocation Engineer, a former, I think, manager of Two Men in a former owner of the franchise Two Men in a Truck out in Toronto, Canada, for about 8 years or so. So he's coming today with so many golden nuggets. I am super excited, but I'll let him get into saying a little bit about himself. Colin, you want to kick it off?
That's the number one thing.
Definitely.
Second thing is, I treat these guys with respect, like really with respect, not like I love you guys, I respect you guys, and then don't answer my phone, right? Like how many people do that, And I'm talking about like real respect. Like, I mean, so one thing that we're doing is every time it's one of our staff's birthday, we go down to where they live, my wife and I, and we bring them a cake and a card with $100, $200 in it.
Wow.
We personally go down to wherever they live at to do that. We do team events. I know a lot of companies talk about that, but they don't do it because what happens is, you own a moving company, you know how it goes. Trucks get booked up, and that's the first priority.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'll say is I urge all the owners, set a day. It doesn't have to be every month, every quarter, one day, block off the schedule, do something with your staff, whether it's a dinner, paintballing, go-karting, whatever. Just it builds morale and it builds chemistry. The way I always look at it, so I have a sports background. So I played baseball when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at my business is kind of like a mix between like military and sports. Right? Like we got the discipline of the military, but we got the cohesiveness of like a sports team.
Okay.
That's when teams win, right? Like you can put LeBron James or Michael Jordan on a team, doesn't mean they're going to win. You have to have the whole team come together, and everybody on your team has to understand that they're a part of the bigger body. Everybody has their
Definitely.
own role, right?
Definitely. Yeah, I
And
feel.
so
Well, I was
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I feel like yeah, you're definitely hitting on something. I'm big on that as well. Like we have quarterly meetings or so like that
Yeah,
at my company, and or events. Like in
yeah,
August every year we do a annual barbecue or so like that for
yeah,
our staff where they can bring their family and everything.
yeah.
And my biggest thing is I don't care it's the summer. Granted, yes, it's the money maker, but it's nothing more important than that commodity, that bond, that hey, what's going on, guys out there? You guys are the only you guys are out there. We're in here. Let us know. Voice your opinion. It's going to be hostile, and some owners can't take that. They can't take
Yeah,
the 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 truth about
that's
what
right.
how their staff feel, and they don't want to confront it. I
That's right.
I encourage it. I say, hey, tell me what's going on. What don't you like?
Yeah,
But when you say that, bring a solution to the table, and let's see if it's something that if it's a company thing that we can afford. Okay, hey, let's see what we can do if it's money involved. If it's something where it's just an issue and everybody's having that same issue, okay, we're going to take that back to the manager's circle. We're going to see how we can fix this, and by the next meeting in the next quarter, we're going to bring this back up to you with results.
that's
And
right.
we get the buy-in, like we really get the employee
That's
buy-in.
right. You nailed it on the head. The buy-in. So there's something that I've been doing for probably 10 years. I didn't do it at my last company. Um, but what I did was I wrote a Word document, and it was titled All In. And I wrote about like what it means to be all in, what it means to be a
Mm-hmm.
team, what it actually looks like to be brothers and sisters, part of one body. And then at a meeting, I read it out loud and I asked everybody, do you agree with this? If you agree with this, raise your hand, and don't feel pressure to raise your hand. I want to genuinely know if you agree with it or not. And everybody that agreed with it, we have them sign it, and then we post it up. And it's a reminder, it's a subtle reminder every day when they walk in, we're all in. we're all in. There's a bigger goal here. It's not just moving, it's not just getting, this move done today. There's a bigger impact that we're here for that's way bigger than moving. Moving is just the tool, the vehicle for us. Like I don't want to get too much into it, but we have big plans of not, like we're not going to be just a moving company. Like I'm going to be a real estate brokerage, mortgage provider, like everything all in one. And but you need the buy-in of your people. You
You
need it.
definitely do.
You need it. You need it. So overpaying, treating people with respect, team morale. We talked a little bit about that, about quarterly meetings, monthly meetings, events, whatever you want. I also do a huddle every morning with everybody. So we talk about the day. We talk about, what challenges there could be on each move. We talk about the moves the day before, and we try to really address those issues if there are any issues and nip them right in the bud. And that goes through like ongoing conversations as well with our staff, right? So we want to know how you feeling, what's going on, what can we do to improve, because at the end of the day, I want my staff to be comfortable, right? Like I want their job to be easy. It doesn't like, I don't mean that in a sense like moving's not hard. We know that moving's hard from the physical point of it, but we try to provide them with the proper tools, the proper equipment, whatever they need to really make their lives easier, right? And then onboarding is a big thing. I think when you're in the onboarding process, you really want to lay out like your expectations from the beginning. Like
Gotcha.
communication is so key, because you can't have these it's like your marriage or your kids, right? Like if you don't communicate with your partner or your children, and then they do something that you don't like, you're going to be left feeling angry, right? Or resentful or bitter or whatever, and they don't know that they've wronged you or offended you, right? And so I think communication from the onset is just so critical, from the phone interview to the in-person interview to the training on once they're employed, and you just continue to check in with new employees. How you doing? How you coping? How you managing? Especially when you hire somebody that's maybe, what's the term we use? Green, right? They don't really know much about moving, right?
Right.
And you just, we really want that onboarding process to be comfortable. We want them to feel like a family. We want them to feel respected and welcomed. And then we overpay them. That's just a sprinkle on top. But the base of it is truly respecting them. And people aren't replaceable. If they were, you would hire day labor for $12 an hour, but you don't.
Yeah, you're right.
We also have an employee referral program. So we do a lot of hiring through like the network of movers, that because they all know each other, right? Most of these guys have been, 5, 6 different companies, maybe more, right? They all know each other. So for us, like the real vision is to have all the best movers in the city of Toronto or wherever we decide to go next. We want them waiting to come and work here. We want to be known as the company that pays them above average, treats them with respect. We want to be known as that company. And so we offer them, I think if they refer somebody, one of their friends, and that person's good, and they stay for 3 months, we'll give them a $500 bonus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and again, like it really goes back to like investing in your people, like really investing in them. Like, there's been movers over the years. Like most of my guys now, they've been with me for 8, 9, 10 years. Like this is literally the 5th company that they followed me to. There's a reason for that, right? But we try to, not that we want to be friends with them. Like obviously there's got to be a separation. It's not a friendship, but it doesn't mean that you can't care and you can't help. Like I've helped movers get out of debt. I've helped movers buy houses. I've helped movers start their own moving company.
Yeah, definitely. No, I
Right?
100% agree with the owner bringing the culture into the organization and really
Yeah.
like getting that employee to buy in.
Yeah.
And definitely staying small, like you mentioned, without franchising and sacrificing the quality
Yeah.
is everything.
It has to be, because at the end of the day, what are we doing this for? Are we doing this to get rich? Are we doing this with the focus of helping people? What are we doing this for? Like, I know for me, money, money is important. Don't get me wrong. Like, I got to pay my mortgage and I have 5 children. That's expensive, right? I
Hmm.
have a wife. I have, we have a lot of personal expenses, 2 cars, right? Groceries, all that's expensive.
Right.
So we need money. Don't get me wrong, but money's not the focus. Like, greed and money is not the focus. Like, that will come. I think if you do right, if you treat your customers with respect and dignity, you treat your staff with respect and dignity, all that stuff falls into place. But it first starts with the respect,
Definitely. Definitely. No, that
right?
definitely makes sense.
And we try to do things, like we have season seats for the Toronto Blue Jays, so the baseball team.
Woo.
And we also have season seats for the Raptors, like farm team. So they're called the Raptors 905. It's like the G League, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so we have a courtside table there with 4 seats, and we give them to our staff. Like, I don't go with, like, I've been to maybe 3 games the whole season. Like, we give them all away. Like, we sent one of our staff with his wife and kids. Just, here you go do that, right? Have fun on
Hmm.
us, right? So it's just, a lot of companies, man. I've been around the industry a long time, and a lot of owners, it's all the same nonsense. We really care about you, but when it really matters, where's that love? Where's that care?
Right. No, 100%.
I say all that to say, yeah, you can tell people you respect them and you love them and you value them, but do you really? And if you're an owner and you say those things, and not to call owners out, but if you say those things, really look at your heart. Do you really care? Because if you don't really care, don't say it. Because what's happening is you're creating a false sense of hope for these guys,
Hmm.
and you're dragging them along. And it's not right to do that to people. So you got to invest in your people, man. And if you care, you really got to care, even when times are bad. Look, you don't think it hurt me in January, February, paying some of these guys $35 an hour?
Oh yeah, definitely
That
does.
hurt me. That hurt me in January, February, when we were slow. We were really slow. There, there was a time in January when I didn't even know how I was going to pay my mortgage.
Yeah, I think we all go through that at
We've all
some
been
point.
there, right? And that's just, I'm telling on myself. It's not all peace and peachy, you know that.
Hmm.
But I still paid them what we agreed to. I still, respected them. I still, like, when the times are hard, do you still respect your people?
Definitely. No, that makes
And
sense.
and they pick up on that. They're like children. Do you have kids?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to know what it's like, my friend, I have 5 kids, all age groups. I can send them to New York and you can practice. So my point is, it's like children. Children, they pick up on when things aren't good with mommy and daddy. They're not
Hmm.
stupid. Same thing with your employees. So my advice to the owners out there, if you preach that you respect them, if you love them, do it.
Definitely,
Do it.
definitely.
Right. And I think I've had great success over the years, man, of staff showing up. And another thing that I really I got my notes here. Another thing that helps that we do, and I know a lot of companies don't want to do it because it costs money, but
Hmm.
we overschedule. Like, if we know we have a big day, I'm gonna get 2 or 3 extra guys in, just because. You never know. If somebody doesn't show up, you think about, you have 20, 30 movers coming in. There's a possibility that one of them or two of them might not show up for whatever reasons,
Oh,
right?
definitely. That's everyone's fear, I think.
Schedule extra guys, right? And then you know what? If everybody shows up, great. You put a third guy on a two-man move, it gets done quicker and your customer's happy, right?
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Schedule extra guys and also like invest in training. Like we when I was at Two Men in a Truck, you know, the owner, the franchisee there, he did not want to invest in training. Like nothing. He didn't like it wasn't until like year 6 we started doing training.
Mm.
And we could have avoided so much like roadblocks and hurdles and like it matters, man. It matters that you
Yeah,
like
it
again,
definitely
it goes
does.
back to it just goes back to communication, right? It
Hmm.
matters. And you know, he was one, you know, the thing about Two Men in a Truck is it depends on the franchise if it's good or not, right?
Right.
And he was infamous for hiring students 15 bucks an hour, right? And then what? Now what? I'd
Yeah,
rather not do the job. If I know there's going to be a problem on the job, or if there's a high probability of doing the job and there's going to be a problem, I'd rather not do it.
makes sense.
What's money, bro? Like what's a bad review worth to you?
No, it definitely makes sense. If you already know the situation is bad, don't even put yourself or your company in the mix.
You know, the best one of my mentors when I was younger, the best advice I ever got was he said, you know, when I was young and I was trying to book every customer that came that rang that phone, right? I think we've
Hmm.
all been, you've probably been there, right?
Yeah.
But what he said to me was, he says, you got to realize, he says, you want to kill your competition? Understand this 50% of the people that are calling you are going to book with you anyways because of your name. 25% you got to fight for, and the other 25% just aren't your customer. Your job is to figure out the 25% that aren't your customer and direct them to your competition.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Right. So, you know, it's just respect the staff, man. Like just, you know, they'll if they buy in, if they're all in, they'll show up. You know,
Okay.
they'll show
Yeah,
up, man. They'll show up.
yeah, I'm a big believer. Like a few years back when I was actually on the trucks and everything, it got crazy one summer, and that's every summer really, but it got crazy
Yeah.
one summer where, we were working 7 days a week and now we don't work 7 days. We maximize 6 days a week so
Yeah.
that the
Us
guys get
too.
a day off.
Yeah.
But we were working 7 days strong, and I was out there. I think we probably had 9 guys or something, including myself, and it was like a crazy summer. Like we had like 50 jobs in 2 weeks, and we
Yeah.
were double stacking them almost,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like, OMG, like how are we gonna get through this? By day 3 or 4, my back is starting to feel it. I'm just trying to, be conservative with myself. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm just hoping somebody don't call out the next day,
Yeah.
because I'm like, every hand is on deck every day this week. So
Yeah.
guys, just be
Please
conservative.
show up.
Yes, don't go home. Don't drink tonight. Don't do anything that's going to hinder you from coming in tomorrow. And it was just like they were there,
Yeah.
and I felt like they were there because I was in the trenches with them, and they
Yeah.
knew that
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to be out here working
Yeah.
just as hard as you. Let's get
That's right.
this.
Yeah. And but that's the quality of good leadership, right? Like you gotta know where your ship is going and you gotta lead it if you expect your people to do like, you know, if you're half in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, your staff are gonna be half in.
Exactly.
Like you gotta be all in. And you know, for us, like I've had crazy summers and you know, I think the most we ever did at Two Men in a Truck was about 40 trucks a day. And
Okay.
that was insane, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, my business, I think the last week of July, my new business
Hmm.
was it was challenging because we had like the full week was booked and there was 2 jobs, 3 jobs going on. And you know, there of course it was Murphy's Law, right?
Hmm.
Where you know, not that the moves were going wrong, but like one of the jobs, the movers went out to, we had a job out in Montreal, about 5 hour drive. And of course, there's a huge accident out there, and they don't get back till like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I need them the next day, but I also know that the law says they can't work more than 16 hours, right? So I'm out there getting in the trenches with them, doing whatever I can, but they, similar to what you're saying, they all showed up. They were there. And
Mm-hmm.
it starts with the management, man. It starts with the leadership. It starts with your mentality. You gotta speak life into these movers, man. You can't be an owner that says these guys are idiots, these guys don't show up. Well, what's gonna happen?
No,
Right?
you're
You're
right.
speaking it into existence.
You're definitely
Try,
right.
my staff are good, they're amazing, they love working here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they like the perks, man. Like, even I don't know if you saw my Facebook, but I think we're one of the only moving companies in the world that has Nike making our uniforms.
Woo. Okay. So I'll
And
definitely look into that. So I would say, did you have anything else on your list? Because you've definitely given out some gems today.
yes, no, you know what? I have an 11 o'clock I gotta get to.
Okay.
But Dwight, I just want to say I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully that some of the things I shared will impact some other owners. And hopefully you got something out of this. I know
I
for sure
definitely
got
did.
stuff out of this. So thank you for your sharing, and it's been great.
All right, awesome, awesome. So again, this is Dwight with Max Moving Training. And definitely like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll come out with more episodes in the future. Thank you so much, Colin. Did you want to take off, say something before we take off?
I'm good. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the opportunity, and definitely gonna be helping you with your training business. I think you're passionate about it, and I think that a lot of people, myself included, can get a lot of gems from you. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
All
All
right.
right, everybody. You take care.